Hey there, y'all, and welcome to another episode of Afterthoughts. Tim Risto here, host of the Creative Christians Podcast, joining you once again. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hope your day is going great. Here at Afterthoughts, we've been talking a lot lately about faith-based films. And in particular, one of the current films out in theaters, faith-based films out in theaters, is Sound of Hope, the production by Angel Studios, and also the recent partnership with DailyWire. It's actually a very good film. I had the opportunity to check it out in mid-June for a one-day pre-release that happened. Maybe you got to catch one of those as well. If you haven't seen my review of it, please check it out. It's here on my channel. It's actually a very good film. But since seeing that, I've been kind of curious, once the film officially dropped on July 4th, how it would do in the box office. And so we've got an article from DailyWire that dropped about 48 hours ago. Talks about the box office performance a little bit. I've also got some information on the budget for the film, so we can kind of take a look at all that and see how the film is doing. If you haven't seen it yet, I would recommend you check it out. It's really a very good film and deserving of your time and ticket price money as well. So let's hop over to DailyWire and check out here how it's doing. This is by Amanda Harding. It's from July 8th on dailywire.com. Headline reads, The Sound of Hope, Story of Possum Trot Outperforms Box Office Expectations in Opening Weekend. Sound of Hope, The Story of Possum Trot is outperforming expectations, bringing in $6.8 million at the box office over the 4th of July weekend. The drama was released by Angel Studios in partnership with DailyWire Plus. And I've also got a video all about that partnership that was announced a little while back. So if you're interested in a little bit more about that, feel free to check out that video as well. Sound of Hope is based on the inspiring true story of Donna and Reverend Martin, a couple who joined 22 families from their rural black church in the small East Texas town of Possum Trot to adopt 77 of the most difficult to place kids in the foster system. Brandon Purdy, EVP and head of theatrical distribution at Angel Studios, said the content of the film is the reason for its success. Angel Guild has the power to revolutionize the movie-going experience by choosing films like Sound of Hope, which bring back audiences long neglected by the outdated studio gatekeeping system, he said per a company press release. I talk about this in another video as well, but if you're not familiar with what the Angel Guild is, it's Angel Studios, basically subscribers. You subscribe to Angel Studios, you get their streaming platform, you become a member of, quote unquote, of Angel Studios, and you get the opportunity to vote on films that they're considering for production. And so the ones that most people respond to, they generally move forward with and produce those. So you kind of get a hand in deciding what films they move forward with producing. So it's kind of an interesting concept. Also, they do some crowdfunding of some things, so films get funded that way as well. And we'll talk more about that in a minute too. Purdy added, this film highlights the urgent need for diverse content in our domestic box office. Audiences have clearly shown how broken the gatekeeping system is through their movie choices, filling theaters for compelling stories and leaving others empty. They crave deep, impactful narratives year-round. This is the first collaboration between DailyWire and Angel Studios. They go on to talk about the partnership. Sound of Hope also has high marks from experts and moviegoers, sitting at an 81% critic score and 97% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, as well as an A+ cinema score rating. Sound of Hope, like its predecessor, Sound of Freedom, is a big-hearted film made with a homespun sincerity that comes as a refreshing surprise at the multiplex these days, wrote a critic from the Wall Street Journal. The headline again, Sound of Hope, Story of Possum Trot outperforms box office expectations in opening weekend. Unfortunately, the article really doesn't state what their expectations were. I haven't really seen that listed anywhere else, so I'm not sure exactly what the expectations were. Obviously, they probably weren't expecting another Sound of Freedom type box office result. But we'll jump over to IMDb, or actually boxofficemojo.com, which I think is owned by IMDb, and take a look at comparing some of the box office results here too. So first, let's see Sound of Hope, how it's doing here. If you look at the box office, opening weekend was a little over 3 million. And to date, it actually, as of today, as of 7/8, as of Monday, the gross worldwide, which really it's only playing domestically right now, but the gross, total gross is just slightly over 7 million. It's decent, but it's not, stellar in terms of numbers. And I was able to find out some details about the budget, because they don't list it right here in Box Office Mojo. But if we come here to details, I did notice down here in trivia, it talks a little bit about here at this very last line. It says, filmed on a crowd-funded budget of $8.5 million. And it's made just a little over $7 million in its 6 or 7 days of release so far. So that's kind of interesting, because it's obviously well on its way to earning back its budget. But secondly, it was already crowdfunded, so it's paid for in advance. Now, 8.5 is a pretty small budget for a film, and the film looks really good. And in fact, if you check out my review, I talk about the sound design too. It sounds really good too. But 8.5 million isn't a lot, so they kept the budget small, and it's already paid for by crowdfunding, so they're already in the black, you could say. Now, I don't know what was spent on marketing promotions. Probably not much. Angel Studios has done a lot of this kind of word-of-mouth kind of marketing, but I have seen, promos and commercials for the video, the trailer running on YouTube and elsewhere. So I'm sure something was spent on that, but I don't know how much. It probably was minimal. They've also got this partnership with DailyWire, so they've been promoting it, on their streaming platform and on their sites as well. So probably minimal promotional. I'm guessing with the 7 million they've made already, they've probably covered that expense, probably. And so they're still probably in the black. It's looking like they'll make their 8.5 million and then some. I'm guessing, it's just a shot in the dark here, but I'm guessing it'll probably do somewhere around 16, 18 million, something like that, before they pull it from theaters. Might be a little bit less than that, but hopefully it kind of upticks, that people go to see it and support it in the theaters, because it really is a very good film. But so if we compare that to like Sound of Freedom, for example, that had a budget here of 14.6 million. Much bigger budget, almost double. And it opened at 19.6 million and grossed 184 million domestically and 250 million worldwide. So that film was kind of unique in terms of really hitting the box office with its message and with its storytelling. Sound of Freedom, I have to say too, really was aimed at a bit more of a male audience in terms of its storytelling, in terms of its style, in terms of what it was about, in terms of being a little more, much more male-driven kind of cast, a little more action-oriented in some regards. So that really struck more out at targeting the male movie-going audience, which is the majority of the movie-going audience. Whereas Sound of Hope, out right now, probably leans really more towards female-centric audience. It's certainly can appeal to both, but I think it's got more of an emotional storyline. It's about mothers and kids, although it certainly could be argued it's about fathers and kids as well. You've got Reverend Martin as the main character in it, but his wife Donna is really the primary protagonist, you could say, and Reverend Martin is a close second to that. But it really is a lot about this relationship between Donna and the kids. So a little more female-centric target marketing for the film. Let's jump over and look at Cabrini real quick, which was director Alejandro Monteverde's follow-up to Sound of Freedom. And that was released earlier this year. That film had a budget of $34 million, much higher than the budget for Sound of Freedom. So he got kind of a pay increase, you could say, in terms of being a bigger budget for this film. And it looks very good. It's also a good film, but again, also very female-centered in terms of a target audience. In fact, they even marketed it as starting on March 8th, which was International Women's Day. So very much targeted at females. It's about a Catholic saint, Mother Cabrini, and so it's got more of a female-centric kind of storyline and emphasis. So it had a budget of $34 million. It made about what Sound of Hope made, about $7 million opening weekend. Worldwide only grossed about $20.4 million. So not the massive hit that obviously Sound of Freedom was. It was Alejandro Monteverde's follow-up to that film, first film since Sound of Freedom. But again, it's a very good film, but it has probably more of a niche market to it. Maybe Sound of Hope does too, although I think it's just such a good, compelling storyline, but it is very emotional too. So that just compares some of the box office results, and you can see where Sound of Hope falls within all of that. So anyway, just an interesting little article I thought we'd take a quick look at, and these box office results, how they compared to some of the past Angel Studios or more recent Angel Studios films. So what do you think? Have you seen Sound of Hope yet? Are you planning to go see it in theaters, or are you going to wait for it to come on Angel's streaming platform or elsewhere? Again, I think it's a very good film, well worth your time, well worth supporting in theaters. It'd be good to give that a little bit more of an uptick. If we want to see more films like this in theaters, this is a great way to go. Again, it was already crowdfunded, so it was already paid for, but at the same time, it costs money to release into theaters. So while you have the production budget, theaters typically take 50% of the ticket prices. I don't know if that's necessarily the deal that Angel has on this particular film with theaters, but who knows? So if you cut 50% off that $7 million, again, they're still in the black. But then, what did it cost for promotion and marketing? Don't know. Don't have those figures available. But certainly could be doing better. Hope that it does better. It's a good film and a story well worth telling. So anyway, leave your comments below. Would love to hear what you think of the film, what you think of these box office results. If you haven't seen it, do you plan on seeing it? Be good to support this film. Anyway, that's all I got today. Hope you're having a great day. See you next time in the next episode of Afterthoughts. Bye-bye, y'all.